Hi, welcome to this week's episode. As your mom always said, don't let one bad apple ruin the bunch. Today we're talking about freedom of relationships. Let's dive in.
The Retirement Readiness Podcast with Tim Regan and Katie Umland. Presented by Prairie View Wealth and Tax Advisors. Live your 2 life.
I think we think a lot of times in our lives, there's things that we do intentionally. Like we think just normally like, oh, I want to buy a car. What are all the things I want in a car? Or before I make spend this money, what do I want to do? Or like I try to be intentional with that. And we talk all the time about, being intentional and living in abundance and those things. But I don't think we spend enough time talking about being intentional with what are the relationships we invest in and that kind of stuff, because I think that has a huge outcome or a huge determination in what your outcome is in life.
Well, I think there's so many different types of relationships and what they mean to you and, what aspect of your life that those relationships land. But I was just talking to somebody recently and they were saying like, you have those friends that you're the one who's always reaching out to them and maybe they're not reaching out back to you. But then you always have those friends that are the ones that reach out to you and you kind of take it for granted and you become the person.
You're the other one.
Yeah, you're the other one. And it was like, just cultivate the ones that are important, that are working. And the people that are reaching out to you, like, why do they always go to the back burner? Well, because you think they'll always be here. Right?
Yeah. And I think about that too a lot with, even at home, I can be the crappiest to the people I love the most.
Of course, yeah.
Right? And because, they love me back, and so like I could talk to them in a way that I would never talk to some stranger at the coffee house, right? So I think there is something to that. I think there is something to, being like, wait, why is that? Why is it that they don't get the best of me? Why is that they get kind of sometimes, then they do get the best, but they also get the worst.
But sometimes they get leftovers or.
Yeah, exactly. But then also I think about, that there's that old saying that says, you're going to become the average of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. And so a lot of times you have to start looking around and saying, am I being intentional with who I'm spending time with?
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean that I don't love my brother. But if my brother is somebody who is taking me down a path that is not going to be additive to the life I'm trying to create, well, then that's not somebody that I'm going to try to spend lots and lots of time with.
Mm-hmm.
No difference in my love for my brother. It just means that that's not somebody I want influencing where I'm going. And I think about it a lot with, and maybe it's just as a guy, when you're in the gym and you're in the locker room and guys are talking, and if you're spending a bunch of time with those guys that are always talking bad about their wives,
right, exactly.
What's it going to do to you? You're going to start seeing negative stuff about your spouse. But if instead you're in the locker room talking with all the guys that are high on their wives and they're looking forward to going to dinner with them or going on a trip with them and spending time with them, your outlook becomes, dramatically different. That type of a thing. And so when I'm thinking about that, who do I want to spend my time with? Who do I want to become the average? And as I let new people into that circle, many times we're asking, are they raising my average? Right? Is this somebody that's raising my average or are they lowering my average? And I think that we can be intentional with how we choose what relationships we want to cultivate.
I think like now that my kids are starting to like make friends and like be old enough that they're actually having friends, not just like random kids you see at the playground, but like the same friends are coming around. It makes me think about friends differently or like just who you spend your time with, like, because I'm trying to tell them how to make friends.
Good friends.
And like, what does that look for? So like every time, we have a couple friends that we just really love. They're really good to us. They're really good to my kids. Like they are so fun. And every time we're like done playing with them, I try to like point out to Dylan, especially like, doesn't your heart feel so good right now?
Yeah.
Like,
isn't this a high?
Just take some stock of like, we feel really good when we hang out with Avery.
Yeah.
Like, what is Avery doing that makes us feel so good? And we want to do that to our other friends.
Yeah.
And we want to be that friend to others. But just in my own, it makes me think about my own relationships. Like, okay, well, it's common for us to, on every holiday, spend that with extended family.
Yep.
Sometimes it feels like that's what we should do.
Yep. Yeah.
Makes mom happy. Like, but then I'm really starting to break down like, what do we actually want to do? And that feels sad and scary even to say like, maybe it's not that.
Sure. Yeah, well, and to that, but I think that as you start thinking about what's the purpose or why do we do that, and if we're only doing it out of obligation, nobody really likes this. No, then why? Right? But if it's something like, yeah, it's a lot of work and it takes a lot to do it, but here's the benefit we get out of it. Here's what it means. Then it's worth it. I think about just in that example, I think about Sarah's grandmother. So Grandma Allen was really good at creating specific moments and keeping them. Every year, after the day after Thanksgiving, you always went to Grandma's house. She had built a gingerbread house for you to pick, and all of the grandkids decorated that gingerbread house. Yeah. Now, Sarah, she did that when her kids were little. Then she did it for her grandkids. Then she did it for her great-grandkids. My kids, Thanksgiving was their favorite holiday because they always look forward to the day after to go to the great-grandma's. But when I think about her building 20 gingerbread houses. Right. I mean, so cute. And then we're heading over there. It's not necessarily a day that we looked forward to just because you're in the middle of, you just had Thanksgiving. I want to get my Christmas decorations up. I want to do all these things. And now we have to go to the store and shop for decorating stuff for the gingerbread houses. But then you leave there and you're like,
they loved it.
They loved it. And so that's the purpose, right? Yeah. And even when you think about holidays and Christmas and stuff, seeing cousins get together and look forward to seeing each other. And it might not be my idea of, I might want to just be at home with my own family, but it's important to have those relationships.
It's so tough. I feel like often to say like you said, what is the purpose? Like, is it out of obligation, or is it, and just like, what do you want your life to look like?
Yeah.
We're always stuck in that.
And I think now even, as an adult, I have great relationships with my cousins. I could easily call any of my cousins and, I just had Tracy's son, Cam, when we were building out the office. Cam came out and helped me a number of Saturdays, and he and I were working together. And so, those things don't happen on accident. Right. Those things take work, and you have to cultivate those. And so when I think about that, I think about, relationship in a couple of different categories. And you have those relationships with people that you want to do things with, you want to spend time with, have fun with, maybe go on vacation with, do those things. I have relationships with people in business that are people that maybe are other business owners that I'm trying to raise my average, and how do I get better? You have relationships in families, and so it's like these different areas of life. But I think as we get to be adults, we sometimes just let those relationships happen.
Right.
We're not intentional with, wait, let me go try to cultivate this. Right. And James Clear said, and I'll get it wrong, but the gist of what he said was the easiest way to get what you want is to join a culture where that's already what they do. That's just the norm, right? So if you want to get in shape, hang out with people that are in shape.
Yeah.
If you want to learn about old cars, hang out with people that know old cars, like whatever that is, go to the place where that's the norm. If you want to help yourself to get there.
Well, and going back to what you were saying of it's not necessarily the easiest thing. You have to work at it. It's the same thing with extended family or whomever that is. If it makes you feel good, but you feel like, oh, I'm not that close with them, the answer is that you have to put in the time.
Yeah, put in the work.
So I think that's also kind of can be confusing of oh, this isn't what I want it to be. Well, you could also, I'm talking to myself, well, then you need to work on
what you need. Yeah,
then what? Okay. So the answer might not be, these aren't my people. The answer might be, they are, we just aren't, we don't have the relationship I want it to be. And so what do I need to do to get there?
100%.
And that's also can be confusing or.
Well, but it all goes to the two-comma life, right? And it goes to what is it that I define my two-comma life as? Is it having relationships with people that are my extended family or people that are these business people, whatever it is, what is my definition of that? And then what is the work I need to do in order to get there? And kind of to what you were talking about, Viktor Frankl wrote a book, Man's Search for Meaning. And it's an outstanding, I'm sure everybody's heard about it, super popular. I read it usually at least once a year. But in there, one of the things that he talks about, the way that I take it, is if there's something that you want, don't necessarily focus on getting the thing. Instead, just start living your life in a way that would have you get the thing, whatever the thing is. And next thing you know, you're going to have the thing. And so when I call it the thing, I don't mean like a physical thing, but like if I want to have a relationship with my cousin, then I should start living my life in a way that would have a relationship with my cousin. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily say, my goal is I got to go do this. No. Well, if I had a relationship with them, I'd shoot them a text and we'd go out to breakfast or, whatever. And so
kind of a fake it till you make it.
Yeah, almost. And so the idea is that if there's something out there that you want, and especially if you look at relationship, and I think about this with like Sarah and I, it would be easy for me. We've been married now 28 years in June. And so it'd be easy for me to take that relationship for granted and easy for me to say, what's wrong with her? Why is she not, why doesn't she care when I come home? Or why doesn't she want to go do this with me? Like, why? But then I could turn around and look at myself and say, well, if I was this way, so how would I be showing up if we had this kind of a closeness or this kind of relationship? And I probably show up differently, right? And so if I start living into that, the next thing you know, I'm going to have that relationship is going to be what I want it to be. And I'll have freedom of that relationship because now we're in a different place. And so rather than me look and say, what can she do? It's just me starting to naturally live into that place. And same thing, if I want to be in great shape, I don't have to sit here and say, I got to get in shape. Yeah, that's fine. I like to set goals. I'm a goal setter or whatever. But if instead I said, what would somebody who is in shape, what would they be doing? Oh, well, maybe if I just start living like I'm in shape, now all of a sudden I will be in shape,
What is it like? Live your act into actions, not think into. What is that that I'm trying to say?
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm not going to get it now.
Yeah, I can't remember it either. But it's something like you have to work your way into acting differently instead of thinking your way into acting differently.
And it happens all the time, right? Like part of the two common life is how do I take what this idea is, and then the shatter your fishbowl part of that is what steps do I have to take that may be uncomfortable, that is going to get me out of this fishbowl and into that other life. And when we do that with relationship, I think that there's so much richness that can come out of that, but there's no faster way to get you down the road than to have the right relationships.
Especially in motherhood, people are always talking about your village.
Yep.
And recently somebody said well, you have to be a villager to have a village.
Have a village, sure.
And it was duh. I mean, that, but it's not.
Yeah, it's
nobody really said it so bluntly. Well, if you expect to have a village, make the dang village.
Yeah, well, it's funny. So Sarah and I think I've shared before, for a reason I feel like God is telling me that I need to become more active and more involved in building a church. And one of the ways Sarah and I were talking about doing that was what would it look like? Because we want to be part of a community, want to be plugged in. And so we show up at church on Sunday morning, but really hard if you're just showing up on a Sunday morning to be part of a community. And so now in this stage of our life, we've never had the opportunity really to participate in small group and that kind of stuff. So for us, it's okay, well, if we want community, if we want to have relationship in our faith, then we should probably start relationships. What does a small group look like?
Yeah.
We'll probably join one this season, and then in the fall, we'll probably start our own. And again, that's not something we've done before. It's not something that's super comfortable. But to your point, if you want the village, then you have to do the things that are part of that, right?
Yeah.
And somehow I don't know why I think that I can have a good relationship and community at church when I walk and sit down. As soon as it's over,
stand up and walk out.
Yeah, right. And don't look at me. I am heading to the car. Right?
Well, and that's a fishbowl thing. That's what you're used to.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, everybody knows I like to eat. So, what comes after church, I'm going to get breakfast. So.
Well, and just because typically a small group is meeting on a Wednesday morning, it doesn't have to be that way.
Yep.
You can reimagine what a small group is
Well, and really what I was thinking about with that is, for those who aren't familiar with our corporate office, we've got, we call it the Vault. It's a social club in the basement of, it's an old bank building. So in the vault.
We're currently in the vault.
Yeah, currently in the vault. They're never recording. But we have, as a social club, we've got a bar and we've got seating and a lounge and all that kind of stuff. And so Sarah and I are Small group doesn't mean in our house.
Exactly. Or anybody's house.
Or anybody's. We're like, let's go to the vault.
Right.
Let's sit in the vault.
Like, what do you want to do?
What do you want to do?
Because other people want to do that too.
Exactly. And so find the right community. Get out of the fishbowl of what should it look like. I'm not sure yet. I think beer might be involved. I don't know why we can't have a beer while you have a small group, right? I mean, there's no reason not to. And that makes me laugh. So back during COVID, I'll never forget when everything kind of shut down, because it was right before Easter is when like you could not go to church on Good Friday, that stuff. And so we did our first Good Friday, streamed service as a family in the living room on Good Friday. And I remember I got a dirty look from Sarah, and I'm like, what? She's like, you can't have a beer until church is over. As I'm sitting on the couch. Oh, yeah, I forgot. That's what we're doing. So, but I think that, you talk about even like COVID and stuff. I think COVID in some ways caused us to lose some of our intentionality around relationship. In some ways, it caused us to be more intentional.
Yeah.
But I think that it just changed the way relationship looks like. And so if we start thinking about what am I free to do, and where can I add to my average, and where can I kind of move the needle, very rarely, I think, do we set goals around who do I want to be in relationship with, and what does that look like?
I'm really learning, I'm learning a lot about myself in my mid-30s, but one of the things is be fine if those aren't your people.
Yep.
You will find your people.
Yes.
I feel like sometimes I'm waiting to find my people before I move on from other people.
Sure.
Where it's it's okay to move on.
It's okay. There are different seasons in life.
Doesn't mean oh, I'm never going to talk to you again, or get out of my life. Just I can spend less time with you.
Yeah.
I can not put so much brain power to you.
Yeah.
And we can work on finding new people. Yep. And being okay with oh, okay, I was too much for her.
Sure.
I was too excited about that.
Yep.
Okay, then she must not be
your people.
My people.
Yeah.
Or I'll keep trying, and maybe it takes a minute. But
yeah. Well, and I think too, think about anything. You can't let something new come in until you create space and capacity.
Exactly.
For it.
Yeah.
So if all of your relationship capacity is utilized on people that are not your people, or people that aren't moving you forward, or they're lowering your average, you need to create the space to have that opportunity to
free up some space,
free up some relationship capital. And that's not get rid of everybody. I love our family. I'm glad we get together. I'm glad we see each other. So this is not a negative about family, but it really is saying, how do I be intentional with?
I kind of think it's the opposite. It's just making your relation. I feel like it takes one person to be hey, this isn't really what I want to do. Maybe everybody's just falling in line.
That's what I mean. It's like the assumed, this is how we've always done it. This is how we're
and maybe everybody's feeling that way. It takes one person to be this isn't really great.
Yeah.
This isn't really what I want it to be doing, or for it to look like.
Yeah. Well, in there too, just as a simple thing, we talk about family and holidays and all that kind of stuff. I really enjoy Thanksgiving, because with Thanksgiving, we get all of our family, for the most part, on mom's side together. And that's a time when I get to see my cousins, I get to see their kids, and, whatever. The downside, though, is mom always hosts.
Yeah.
And so I look at mom and hosting, and she loves it. She loves to have her whole family over. But I also think that's a bit of a load to carry, right? And so how do you then, when you think about freedom of relationship, how do you have the conversation, or look at how do we make that load lighter so that she's not carrying that whole load? And we all bring dishes and that kind of stuff. I know that, but I think there's different ways that we fall into those habits, or fall into those things where you can say, maybe I don't have to change this relationship, but maybe I can change in how we show up in that relationship, and have freedom there.
Or what we've said for several different things, you can reimagine it. Aunt Sherry's getting older. She doesn't want to host people, but maybe she doesn't want to host people because she can't clean her house and can't cook the food. Okay, so maybe that means everybody puts in $10 and we get her house cleaned for her before or after.
Before and after.
So that she can come. If she can't come anymore, just in general, maybe that's a different way to think about things.
No, 100%. We had that even with somebody who passed, whose husband passed away. Her husband had always driven everywhere. And so she had a friend that lived a bit away. She was nervous to make the drive. So her and this friend started to drift because she's like, I don't know that I can make that drive on my own. Get an Uber, right?
Yeah.
She would have never thought about it, but now just having an Uber lets that relationship stay intact.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think just as you think about this and kind of to bring it full circle, part of the Two Comma Life is spending time and having freedom to spend time with the people that you want to spend time with. Very rarely, I think, do people set goals around what relationships do I want and what do I want to cultivate. And so we end up being unintentional and not getting the most out of the relationships we have. And so I think, while it might be hard, shattering that fishbowl, getting out of your comfort zone, finding ways that you can cultivate the relationships that you want is a huge way to live into the purpose that you're created for. So that's Two Comma Life.
I just always think it's so exciting to think about, like, you get to make what you want.
Yes.
Like, I mean, it can be overwhelming, but it feels exciting. Like,
it's very exciting. And you don't, it's like, you don't always think about it. Like, you don't always think about, I get to choose. I can say, here's where I want to be. And I can choose what it looks like, to the point of, if you want to be the person that knows NBA stars, you can be that person.
Right.
You can be that person. There is somebody that knows NBA stars.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Those people are on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be the person who has friends that have airplanes, you can be that person. Mm-hmm. Now, how would you go about it? Maybe you go start hanging out at an airport on Saturday mornings, right? Like most small airports have a restaurant attached. Go sit down in the restaurant. I don't know what all those are, but if you start doing the things that those people would be doing, you'll start to live the life that you want to live and have the relationships that you want to have. And so to your point, it is really exciting because these are all choices we get to make. Mm-hmm. There are no barriers, no limits. The only barriers that we have are the ones we impose upon ourselves. Yeah. It's the thinking of, well, I could never be a friend with an NBA star. Baloney. You could. You just have to do the things that a friend of an NBA star would be doing.
Well, I'm going to think about who I want to be friends with.
See? Me too. Me too. And luckily, most of the people I'll be friends with are
already friends
that I already love. So. So what do you think, Katie? Was that a good one?
I think it's okay. Yeah.
Time to land the plane?
So. Yeah. I think you landed it.
I think so. I think we're good.
All right.
Good. And so what's going on in your house other than Dylan playing with Avery?
That's all day, every day.
I heard a rumor that one of the twins is able to walk behind a walker around the house.
Yeah, they are moving and grooving for sure. Talking, starting to talk, starting to take some steps. But I have all my curtains tied up. I have tubs blocking so they can't climb up the stairs. Yep. I have another tub blocking the fireplace, so my house is
all the fun stuff.
But
all the fun stuff.
Yeah, it's so summer funny. Break is coming.
It's so funny how we're in such different stages of life. We just on Monday we're with Tim and he closed on his house, and so we're like launching and kicking out and all that stuff. And
exact opposites.
Yeah, you're in the throes of little kids.
Well, maybe one day you'll have grandkids, and then we'll be a little bit closer.
Yeah, we'll be back to the same thing. Yeah. Well, I'll let Lily know that you're hoping she has twinsies. So so we can have that shared experience.
Oh my gosh. All right. You guys know what to do. Head to pv-wp.com for more resources.
Be well.
The Retirement Readiness Podcast with Tim Regan and Katie Umland. Presented by Prairie View Wealth and Tax Advisors. Live your 2 Comma Life. Learn more at pv-wp.com. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the Retirement Readiness Podcast on your preferred podcast platform.